Happy May 6th, everybody. Angry Goat here. I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching my last video regarding my 2,500 mile review on my Honda. I want to let you know that I am working on a couple other videos regarding the modifications to this. They are hard to film and review simultaneously, while the video vlog style, this is super easy. So, on to the video. Today's video is actually why I leased. So, in my last video, a couple of people, they picked up on the fact that I actually leased my 2019 Honda Civic Si. And, I'll tell you why I leased. And a little bit of it goes back to my car buying history personally, and if lease is a good factor. So first of all, right off the bat, everybody tells me, Eddie, if you lease, you are stupid. That is a bad idea to lease. Do not lease a car, because basically all you're doing is renting a car. Okay, cool. That makes total sense to me. So I've never leased. Back in 2005, I bought my very first brand new car. It was a 2005 Dodge Neon SRT4. It was awesome. It was new. It was super reliable. I can go wherever I wanted to go. I modded the hell out of it. It was sponsored by Weapon R. It was one heck of a car. I drove that car for 2 years. I drove that car for 2 years. Got in a motorcycle accident. The motorcycle company, or the doctor, told me, hey, look, you'll never ride a motorcycle again, let alone be able to drive a stick, because your hand won't be able to turn the proper way. So you should get rid of your car. So I traded that in for a Chevy Tahoe. Now, here's the thing, is that ever since my SRT4, so remember this 2005 and this is 2019, I have had a car payment of some sorts. There's never been a month in the last 14 years that I've not had a car payment. Now, I'm going to tell you how car payments work. Basically, for every $5,000 finance, it's about a $100 a month payment at a 10% interest rate. So give or take, if you got really good credit, sometimes it's a little lower. If you have really bad credit, sometimes it's a little higher. But for instance, a $5,000 car would be $100 a month. A $10,000 car would be $200 a month. A $15,000 car is $300 a month, and a $20,000 car is $400 a month. Okay, that's just simple math really quick for you guys. That's how car buying process works. So when you're looking at a car and you're like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be, if you add tax, license, and then you take whatever you're going to put down and you minus that, and then you divide it by 4 and times it by 5, that is actually going to be your payment that you actually have. So this way you can have an idea of where you're going to be monetarily. Now, over that time frame, I have owned roughly, a lot of cars. I need to make a video on my chronological number of cars that I've had, but I've had a new car, which means I've always had a car payment. Now, the SRT4, what was really cool about it was the fastest car under $20,000. Well, I didn't put anything down on it, so it was the fastest car just above $20,000, okay? The issue with it is my payment on that car was like $450 a month. Now, that's not necessarily a problem. You know, I've been fairly lucky. I've always had fairly good jobs where I've been able to absorb a car payment. So I've had a car. Well, the problem is with me is I get bored with cars relatively easily. My needs change. My wants change more than anything, you know. I've had everything from the SRT4 to a Chevy Tahoe to a Ford C-Max. When I was into the gas craze thing, when gas was expensive, I had a Dodge Ram 2500 Mega Cab 4x4 diesel. That truck was a beast. You know, I've had a lot of different types of cars. I had a 06 BMW 330 Ci. That was probably one of the nicest cars I've ever owned. And you know, it's one of those things where what I want jumps around almost depending on like the time of year. You know, it's crazy. Ideally, I would have a fleet of probably 10 vehicles, and maybe that'll be a good vehicle, or a good video to do, is the 10 vehicles that I would like to have today. I think that'd be really cool. But back to the video on why I leased. What I'm trying to get to is I've had a car payment for, like I said, 15 years. I haven't paid off any of my cars. And what I do is I just stack negative equity on top of other vehicles, and I do it creatively with use of rebates and things like this, so that I'm hiding my negative equity within my other vehicles. The problem with that is that after time, if you're not very, very careful, you will end up very, very upside down on a car. and you won't be able to do anything with it but just take it and drive it. So for the first time in a long time, when Ford bought back my Fusion, I was in a period in my life where I did not have any negative equity, I did not have a car payment, and I was not forced into any one type of car. That's another thing. When you are trading in your car and you're rolling over negative equity, you don't get to pick what car you want. You have to get an idea of what is going to work at the dealership, okay? What that means is that, for instance, I bought a Jeep one time. I bought an '08 Grand Cherokee, and the only reason I bought an '08 Grand Cherokee, and it was tan, is because that was what fit my deal, okay? So I had to be comfortable in the fact that this was going to be the car that I bought. So for the first time, I had a clean slate, and I could really kind of figure out I wanted to do whatever. So I started looking at cars, and I got to the point where I was like, man, I want a Type R. You know, I want a Type R, but the Type R, like I said, it's $50,000, okay? I mean, if you strip it down, it's $50,000, and that's for the Honda Civic, and I can't spend $50,000 on a Honda Civic. I just can't. I can't do it, okay? I was looking at some Evos, you know, but Evos are super expensive too, $45,000, and these are for used Lancer Evos, and I was like, I can't do it. I was looking at the Subaru STI, which was $40,000. Well, guess how much $40,000 is? That's an $800 a month car payment, okay? And right now, where I am in my life, an $800 a month car payment is ludicrous. Not for 5 years, no way. I mean, it's not going to make any sense to me. And I started looking used. The problem is when you buy used, you sometimes take other people's problems, you know? Like, I would never personally buy a car that I have owned. Okay, I wouldn't. If I trade in a car, I have definitely had fun with it. You know, I have maintained it and things like that, but I have driven it harder than the 80-year-old Betty. You know, now, do I maintain my cars? Yeah, I do. Do I put good products on them and things when they need to be fixed? I do. But still, I wouldn't personally buy a car that I drove. And that's the problem with used cars. You never exactly know what you are getting into. You don't know any of that stuff. So there is a peace of mind to buying a new car. Plus, you get a warranty, factory, plus you get roadside assistance. There's just a ton of bonuses to buying a new car. So keep that in mind. So back to the lease. So the reason that I leased is I actually went into Honda. I was looking at an Accord 2.0 Sport. For those of you that don't know, the Accord is a new body style. It's bigger, which is cool. And this particular one has a Type R motor in it. The 2.0 Type R. It's a very similar motor. It's the same block and everything like that. The stroke is the same. It's got a different turbo and I believe a different head on it is the thing. But I wanted to drive a stick shift. So what I did was I looked for one. I found one. It was red. I went out and it was a nice car. It had Honda Sensing. It was nice, but it just didn't drive like I wanted it to. And it was $30,000. So here we are once again, $30,000. Let's divide that by 5, 6, $600 a month car payments. And, you know, I just didn't want to swing it. And that's when I ran into leasing. So I was able to lease my 2019 Honda Civic Si for $239 a month. $239 a month, okay? And that is a quarter of what I was going to pay for that Accord. Now, everybody's going to say, well, Eddie, you know, you're just renting the car. No, you're not really, and you're very much wrong. What I mean by that is, and I'll give you some information regarding that, is I had to put $2,400 down on the car. So the Civic, let's just say for ease of math, is $24,000, right? Well, now you add tax and license to that, you're talking $26,500. We'll call it $26,000 just to be even. So at $26,000, if I put down $2,400, that means that the leftover, the actual price of the lease is $24,000. Now, if I pay my $239 some odd dollars, $239 a month for my lease. For 3 years, I have 36,000 miles. And if I go over my miles, because everybody goes, oh, well, that's where they get you if you go over your miles. If you go over your miles, well, if you go over your miles, you have two options. You can either A, pay the mileage difference, which is 15 cents a mile on the Honda, or you can choose to buy the car. Now, if you're driving your car more than 36,000 miles in 3 years, there's a very good chance that you really like that car. You're putting a lot of seat time in it, you're driving it a lot. And if you purchase the car, miles don't matter. See, that's what I don't think a lot of people understand. Is that with leases, at the end of the lease term, you have two options. You can take the car back and you can turn it in and say, thank you very much, have a good day. You know, you don't absorb any negative equity, and you basically start over again, square flush with zero. You don't have a car, you don't have a car payment. But with the way the cars depreciate, in 3 years, your car is depreciated half of what you purchased it for. So it's really not worth a whole lot. Now, if you keep it the entire length of the loan, it might be worth, but then it's going to have a bunch of, see, that's the caveat. And that's how come I leased, is because for me, it was just more cost effective. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who completely disagree with me, and we will see. Time will tell in reference to that. But like I said, I just think it's just more of a cost benefit for myself, because I'm not driving my car a whole lot. I am having fun with it, of course, but like I said, I'm not going to be putting a zillion miles on it. And then in 3 years, I'll be able to go get another car. Now, here's the deal. My car's a 2019. So 2019, 2020, 2021. So right about the time that my lease is up, guess what's going to be out? The next iteration of Civic. So while everybody else at that point with their Civic is, you know, they still owe $10, $11, $12, $13,000 on their Civic, I'm going to be free and clear and be able to have the opportunity to buy another car. And in that case, I might buy another Civic. Who knows? You know, another car I've really been eyeballing. I really super want the Volkswagen IQ, the Volkswagen microbus that's supposed to come out in 2022. I think that would be hella cool. So like I said, it's one of those things that that's why I leased my particular car. So take it for what it's worth. Oh, one more thing is that if you lease a car, at the end of the 3-year term, you have an agreed upon price called residual that your car is going to cost you. So if you think that you're just renting a car and that you're not actually making any type of good financial decision, let me just run this by you real quick. My residual on this car is $13,500. Okay? $13,500. So with that being said, at the end of the lease period, I'm going to be able to purchase a 3-year-old Honda Civic Si that only has 36,000 miles or less on it for $13,500. So my challenge to you is to find a Civic that has less than 36,000 miles on it, an Si that's in good condition, that is less than $13,500. You won't find one. You won't. I'll tell you, I was looking at Civics that are like a 2014 Civic, and they're still like $19,000 because the cars hold their value so well. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I challenge you guys to look for that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Let me know if you leased or bought and why. And you know, if you haven't leased, give it a thought. It might be a good option for you. So have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the channel.